I call her G.I. Jane. She was wearing that tank top and army fatigue. Some cute little tight shorts. She was a little buff. I said, G.I. Jane. Then after I got talking to her more and noticing she's as much active as me, I said, G.I. Mary Jane. Shit.
Happy Sunday, guys. It's crazy right now. All the hate and ugliness I'm seeing on the big social media networks. Like, there are people literally wishing death, harm, sexual assault on people. There are people actively saying that they're going to commit these acts of violence out of their distaste for a verdict in a trial that absolutely does not affect their life personally whatsoever. A trial that, in my opinion, shouldn't have even made it to national news. Is it an issue? Yeah. Did a tragedy happen where people lost their lives? Totally. Is that good? Fuck no. Never. Ever, ever, ever. There's a similar case back in 2017 where a gentleman named Andrew Coffey IV shot back against a group of armed home invaders who had just burst into his home and shot his girlfriend. Unfortunately, Andrew Coffey was charged with murdering a police officer in that act of self-defense. And that happened back in 2017, guys. I am happy to report that Andrew Coffey got acquitted of all the murder charges, found not guilty for killing a police officer. Unfortunately, Andrew Coffey is still facing a 30-year sentence because they did not drop his charge of owning a firearm while being a felon. His felony charge was drug-related and nonviolent. So like so many victims of the drug war experience, while Andrew Coffey experienced a victory in not being charged with murder for defending himself after unidentified, at that time, people walked in and shot his girlfriend over drugs. He's still facing 30 years for simply being in the possession of the weapon that very well may have saved his life and unfortunately couldn't save his girlfriend's life because he formally got charged, or previously got charged with a nonviolent drug crime. That didn't make national news. And this is why I say the Rittenhouse trial shouldn't have made national news either. Unfortunately, tragedies like this where people lose their lives and people act in self-defense happen every day in America. We have local court systems to deal with them. Unfortunately, a lot of those court systems are crooked. You and I both know it, especially if you're a soldier in this drug war and you acknowledge that, as I do. We know that justice is not always on the side of the victims, but to stop an entire country and to push a narrative that separates them. Do you guys see what's going on here? It's a terrible state of affairs, if you ask me. It's got me off of major social media to an extent, but unable to fight the temptation to look through major social media and see what people are saying. But very quickly, it turns my stomach and puts my head into a dark place where I'm ashamed of my community, especially my community. I mean, if you're watching this, chances are you have an activist spirit. You're liberty-minded. You're all about freedom of personal choice, freedom of what you choose to put in your body. You are an advocate of the non-aggression principle. You understand that if there is no victim, that there is no crime. You understand that in order to fight through these things, that there has to be a certain sense of unity. I know my network understands that because I've seen them display it so many times. But now what I'm seeing is a network of people who took the bait. right? And by that, I mean, you set aside your passion for freeing the prisoners of the drug war, for uniting all communities, for encouraging people to take back their personal freedom. You took your focus off of that and onto this tragic case, which, again, I am not going to ever downplay the tragedy of this incident. The loss of life is never okay. But when the media blatantly uses it and turns it into a race thing, I don't even understand this one being a race thing. I'll be completely honest with you. White kid shoots 3 other white kids. At race card? Where? How? I don't understand. And in regards to people saying, well, he wouldn't have gotten off if he were black. Well, Andrew Coffey just got off. Unfortunately, Andrew Coffey is getting screwed with this possible 30-year sentence because he was found guilty of being in possession of a firearm that saved his life while being a felon. It's not cool, right? Don't you think that cases like that should be national instead? Where Andrew Coffey, a black man, if you guys are so yippity-yuppie about race, Andrew Coffey, a black man, defends his home after his girlfriend is shot by intruders that he could not identify at the time. He's found not guilty because he's defending his life and was trying to defend the life of his girlfriend. I don't even know the skin colors or the backgrounds of the officers that he shot. I know he wounded 3 and killed 1. And was found not guilty, and that's a great victory. But where the tragedy still lies with Andrew Coffey is that he's still facing 30 fucking years. You guys, why isn't this national news? Why are we all distracted? I can't say we're all, because I am not claiming to be part of this crazy divide that I see going on right now. But why is everybody so distracted by this Kenosha case and screaming race when you have a black man right now found not guilty of murder because he was defending himself against a police officer in a no-knock raid, still facing 30 years for being in possession of the gun that literally saved his life? You want to talk about national news? I feel like that should take priority, don't you? Separate from all that, how about taking your priorities and your focus into your local communities? You can't change what's going on in Wisconsin. I can't change what's going on in Florida. Hell, I can't change what's going on in Mississippi. 74% of their voters said yes to something and their government said no. You can be aware of it, and we all should be. But to be distracted by things that are going on outside of your community, when you can be taking steps within your community to better the lives of yourselves and the people around you, and therefore your little circle, right? You better your all's lives, and these people's lives get better, and then these people's lives get better. You know math, right? Right? Exponentially, we can grow this compassion, togetherness, voluntarism. Take your focus off of what the media is baiting you with. Stop looking at that carrot that they're dangling in front of your face and look at what's in front of you. That's my call to action to everybody on this Sunday. You know, I usually wear my defund the drug war hat. I've been wearing this legalized happiness hat lately because that's what we need to do. I'm noticing that a lot of things that make human beings happy are illegal in this country. Cannabis being one of them. Feeding the homeless without a license. Yeah, illegal. Big facts. Collecting rainwater so that you can be whole and happy and hydrated. Illegal in a lot of places. Growing your own food so you can be happy and sustained. Pretty illegal in a lot of places. So you guys, let's stop focusing on what the media wants us to focus on. Right? That's gross. That's giving into the enemy. It's giving into those people that love to see us fighting in the streets with each other instead of fighting against the tyranny that they keep passing out. Tim Peter is watching, wants to chime in. He says, disgusting really is. I've taken a step back from the media recently. They got the entire world effed up right now. Tim, you're right. And I'm glad you see that. And I'm glad that you've taken the conscious effort and made the decision to kind of step away from that. You guys, we don't need CNN and Fox and MSN telling us what's up, right? We've got people in neighborhoods with their cell phones rolling. We should be focusing on our communities right now because we live in a time where we can be aware of everything that's going on in the world. And that is so valuable and so important to be aware of those things, but to be distracted by those things and ignore your community and the things that you can be doing for the people within it. That's crossing a dangerous line. And I beg you all to take note of where that line is. Make sure you don't cross it. It's terrible what I'm seeing. I'm seeing people who are normally on the streets screaming for free love, freedom of choice, actually saying they're going to load their vehicles up with weapons and go after some kid. It's crazy. It's terrible. Don Leo's also watching. Don says my TV broke the beginning of the year and I haven't missed it at all. Don, I have taken a break from TV for years and I love it. And in fact, when I'm in the presence of cable television, I almost get a little bit of anxiety because I've removed that toxicity from my life. I have a phone. You have a phone. You're watching this right now. You have all the information you want at your fingertips. You research it when you want to. You research it the way you want to. Talk to your friends instead of arguing with them. Try to figure out why they think the way they think. Maybe you guys can get over a bump in both of y'all's heads that you didn't even know was there because you're compassionately communicating with each other. We've got to keep our eyes on the prize here, guys. We are days away from Thanksgiving, from that big corporate holiday that says you have to love your family this day or else you're a bad American. And we're fighting on each other, or we're fighting over this Wisconsin thing online with each other instead of keeping our eyes, on our original passions. And I say that to anybody watching because I know you're all activists at heart. Don't lose sight of those passions. And B, it's distracting us from this big commercial holiday coming up where everybody's supposed to be happy families. You guys. I know we can do better. We've been doing better. Don't let this be the thing that tips the scale and has everybody fighting in the streets. It's exactly what they want. They poke at us, pull our hair, expecting us to react in anger. When we do, they win. When we react with empathy and compassion, they can't win. They cannot beat an entire community of people working together compassionately despite any disagreements. I don't have to disagree, or I don't have to agree with my neighbor on everything. In fact, I don't want to agree with my neighbor on everything because then we don't have things to talk about, right? Me and my neighbor can disagree on what may be super important issues, right? Let's say abortion, right? That's a huge, huge argument that breaks families apart. Look, I can have a different opinion than you. It doesn't mean that both of us can't work together when both of our families are hungry and we need to plow the fields together. That doesn't mean because you and I disagree on abortion or immigration rights that we can't stand together when people are trying to take our property by force. Stop fighting with each other. You're allowed to disagree and still love people. It's a thing. It really is. The people I love most, I could give you a list of dozens of things we disagree on. And we love each other nonetheless. In fact, I question whether it's our disagreements that bring us closer together. Think about it. And while you're thinking about it, put your fucking phone down. Share this video first, then put your phone down. Stop watching the clickbait, man. We got a job to do. It's time to legalize happiness, and if we keep falling into hate, we'll never, ever accomplish it. Pass joints. Not judgment, guys. We're all in this together.
I'm the Commander-in-Chief, and I approve this message. Visit platoon420.com today and take the pledge. I will stand tall in the face of tyranny for the best interest of myself and my community. I denounce the archaic drug laws that have made victims of people they were written to protect, and I will not support any legislation that regulates what a person puts in their body.